Hey guys, look at my cute hat. So I wanted to make this video because I kind of wanted to start documenting my experiences that have been happening. So if you guys have been kind of following my story, which actually no, I don't think I've really told anyone. You guys saw that I was doing water fasting, yeah, blah 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 blah. I have now transitioned to couch surfing. Okay, I do not have a home. I am like the ultimate definition of a gypsy / nomad. And so I just kind of wanted to show you guys the hilarity of my life. So I pretty much narrowed everything down that I owned. I still have like a couple, a few things at my parents that I just left behind. Who knows what's gonna happen there. So I was gonna show you guys, this is gonna be so hilarious. So if you guys can see that's all I own in the world that I'm taking with me everywhere. So I have like a big backpack that I used to use from an old job I had. I have a suitcase full of honestly, it's just my art stuff and just like a few random things like books that I knew that I wanted, small things like that. It is all really freaking heavy, I won't lie. And then I have like another smaller backpack with like my laptop and charger, all that good stuff in it. Okay, so yeah, I pretty much packed up all my stuff, and for the past probably 2, maybe 3 weeks I've been couch surfing, which has been an awesome experience. I've gotten to know the best, most amazing, generous people, like complete strangers that have let me into their house, and that has been so amazing. I'm unbelievably grateful for them and having that experience, because I've also met really good friends, and I, at least on my side, I think of them as friends. But that's just how I am. I think of everyone as a friend, which probably isn't good. So this is, oh god, this video is going to be so long. So where I am at right now, because I kind of got to the point where I started water fasting again while I was couch surfing, especially with this amazing girl that I was staying with, Emily, yeah. And so I water fasted for another 5 days, because if you guys can still kind of see, like, my face started to flare up again. Like, I just have crazy skin allergies now to any food. Like, literally at this point, all I can eat are fruits and vegetables and nuts. So that's pretty much what I've been living off of, which is totally fine. Like, I've had plenty of energy, and if you guys saw what I've been lugging around the whole city, all your perceptions of having energy without protein is complete bullshit. Like, I have, even after I had been water fasting the 5 days, I just had like 2 apples, and I was carrying more than probably about 70-pound backpack, and my suitcase weighs probably a good 20 to 30 pounds, and then my smaller backpack on top of that, which is another maybe like good, like probably another 15 to 20 pounds. So I was carrying that all across the city and stuff, and I'm completely fine. I had energy. I got sore, but I had plenty of energy. Like, my shoulders hurt really bad, not gonna lie. So here's the deal. So what happened was I went to Salt Lake City because I was water fasting, and I was like, why am I still in Utah? There's no point for me to be here and just sit around and water fast. And I was just like, I feel like I'm wasting my life just sitting here water fasting, and I was still doing my business, so things were going well. but I get stir crazy really fast when I'm determined to travel. There's not a lot you can get me like when I set my sights on something. It's like kind of frustrating. I think it's like a mental disorder or something. But so all of a sudden, let's see, when was it? Not last night, but the night before, I up and decided I was just gonna go to Salt Lake City. And I'd been in like Clinton area in Utah. So I jumped on a bus and drove to Salt Lake City, but unfortunately I couldn't get any couch surfers to approve my stay, which is a very stressful part of couch surfing. It's very much a trust process, and that's what's been really cool, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But nobody was approving any of my couch surfing requests. So pretty much what I ended up doing, because I didn't want to spend the money on a hotel or anything, which is probably why the couch surfers didn't accept me in the first place. But I've been like, I want to save it because I'm planning to leave the state. And I've been, like making sure I had enough money for either a flight or a Greyhound bus ticket to leave the state permanently. So I slept in the airport that night, which is why my eyes look super glassy, because I'm just like so tired right now. I'm so unbelievably tired. So then yesterday, I've been applying this whole like Abraham Hicks Trust, Law of Attraction applications to this whole process, and it has been incredibly mind-blowing. I cannot even, okay, let me start with this. So, yesterday morning, I pretty much didn't sleep at all in the airport the first night. I was there was too much noise here. I was in this exact spot, and there was way too much noise, so I barely got any sleep that night. So the next morning, I was kind of like a little bit emotional, because I kept like sending out couch surfing requests, and nobody is accepting my couch surfing request, which is fine, but yeah, it was really stressful, and I just wanted a good night's sleep. Okay, so all of a sudden I was sitting in the airport, and I had this kind of like impulse to go get on one of the shuttles outside and go into the city, which is kind of like insane. With all of that, it is not fun to take around the city, I'm telling you. Like, I can do it. I'm very strong and stubborn and independent. So I was like, all right, and I've just been falling into this whole trust process, which is like, oh my gosh, it's not always the easiest, but so worth it, and I'm going to tell you why. So I went out, and I went to a couple of places that I was, again, having feelings to go to in the city, and I try to keep it semi-close, but I was actually having a really good time. I was feeling really stressed, okay, like constantly, but I was trying to listen to Abraham Hicks and trying to like get in that zone of feeling high vibe and getting excited and gratitude and all those high vibrations. I was like trying so hard, but that's the problem too, is I was trying to get into that mode. That does not work at all, I'm telling you, my friends. So finally, there were like a couple moments where I started to get there, but I would just immediately go back to stress, because I wanted a bed to sleep in, okay? And I kept visualizing like how it would feel to sleep in a comfortable bed that night, how it would feel to like be able to just relax and stay calm and feel safe, to feel safe the whole night and just feel quiet and peace. And that just wasn't doing crap, okay? So I was walking around the sidewalks, and ironically and hilariously, so I had this impulse to go to a grocery store that's pretty close by. So I started walking that direction, and all of a freaking sudden, my suitcase wheel, if you guys can see that, yeah, the wheel completely broke, split down the middle, and it was like dragging 100 pounds behind you. And I was pretty close to crying at that point, I won't lie. Like, I don't always stay positive, I won't lie. But in that moment, yeah, I was about to be like, seriously, you know? And then right then, I was right close to the grocery store, and I looked to the left, and there was like one of those little grocery carts, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was perfect. It was right by me where my suitcase broke down. And I was like, that was really crazy. Now, to you guys, you might be like, oh, that's coincidence. But I have way too many magical things and synchronicities that I pay attention to in my reality, just being who I am, like into tarot and law of attraction and stuff. I have way too many synchronicities and magical things that happen for things like that to be a coincidence to me. So I knew, like, I just always know that things are working out for me, you know, even how crappy I could get. So I put my suitcases in the grocery cart. I love this so much. This is how much I really don't care what people think about me. So I was just, I went inside the grocery store, bought a couple of apples because I was like getting kind of worn out. So I kind of replenished I just remembered I have blueberries. Oh yeah, I forgot I had those. And I was just feeling hungry. That was perfect. See, stuff like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna eat my blueberries while I'm doing this video. So then I sat in the grocery store for a while, kind of rested, cooled down. It was hot. So then I went outside and I was like, well, now what am I going to do? Because I still wasn't having any couch surfers approve any of my requests. And I was like, holy crap, this is insane. Of course. And so I was like, what do I do? So I'm just pushing my grocery cart of suitcases. Like, literally, that's the grocery cart. I love me. And it's one of those tiny ones, which is so funny too. Like, it's not like a normal grocery cart. No, I got the small one, and I just like piled my stuff on top of it, okay? People were staring at me like I was insane, and I was just grinning. Because to be honest, I was so grateful at that point to have the weight off of me and not to be dragging my suitcase with the wheel broken. I didn't even give a crap what people were thinking. I was just like, you don't even know, dude, you know? I was like, I'm carrying my whole life on my back. So I knew that a lot of people like were looking at me like I was homeless. But I also know that they were very confused because I don't look like a homeless person. So like, here's what happened next, okay? So I was still feeling a little stress, yeah? Because nobody still was contacting me about where I could sleep that night. I was like, crap, I'm probably gonna have to sleep at the airport again. Which isn't the most fun thing, but I'll do it because that's who I am. So I passed by this lady that was probably 70 years old. On the street corner, tiny. She just looked like this crippled little ball of just like, she was so frail and thin, laying on the sidewalk. She had, I can't even remember what she said. She had some type of disease. And I went up and talked to her, and I started grabbing food out of my backpack to give to her because I was just like, I don't know, I was just really drawn to her. And her name was Patty, and she was probably one of the most genuine, sweet people I've ever met in my life. And you have to understand, like, especially too, the things that I've seen, not only over the past, like, few weeks, just as I've been transitioning, and I'll get into that later, but seeing her on the sidewalk, and she even had an eyeball that was kind of like all whited out, like that was part of her condition. So she only had one good eyeball. And I was watching people walk by her, like all in their heels, and like even me, you know, like I was just watching the polar opposite worlds completely with each other, like in each other's experience, but totally disconnected. Like it's kind of mind-blowing to see the complete opposite worlds, and that they're in each other's reality, but there's like no recognition, you know. And I'm not shaming anyone, because a lot of us kind of do this. We've been taught in a way to tune out people that are homeless or have conditions, or we have a weird perception of them. I mean, to be honest, that's what I think, is we have a very, very messed up perception of homeless people, that they're like scary, and they're humans. She was the nicest, sweetest person. And so I sat down with her, and I was trying to give her food, but she couldn't eat any of it because of her condition. And that freaking lady, she was looking at all my suitcases, and she was like, oh, looks like you're in the same position. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. Like, technically I am completely homeless right now, which I thought was kind of funny. So she offered me like a little juice box, and she was just so cute. I loved it. So I left her after we talked for a bit, and I mean, I was completely bawling down that whole sidewalk. I was just like, man, society, like, we're so freaking effed up. Sorry, I don't mean to get negative. Okay, so let's stay on the gratitude side, okay? After that, talking with her, it just completely shifted my whole perception on things, and that's why I knew I had that impulse to go walk around the city, because it made me like, I'm so grateful that I can sleep in the airport, that I'm safe, that, you know, like, I'm so grateful for my shopping cart, you know. So it got me in this mode of gratitude like crazy. All of these magical things have been happening. I seriously can't get into it enough, and it's honestly so much that it's too much for this video. I'd have to spread it out. So the other thing I was gonna say, so currently I am still in the airport, and I have pretty much decided that I'm going to just pick up, you know, take my whole life and start somewhere new. I have not decided where yet, completely. I do think, and I don't know why, I don't even like it that much. Like, I've been to San Francisco a couple of times, but for some freaking reason, I keep hearing that in my head, like, go to San Francisco, like, go to San Francisco. So that probably is the next place that I'll go, even though, I mean, when it comes to living there, I don't really want to. Like, it's just because I would rather, especially for my health, be somewhere where it's constantly sunny. And so I keep thinking that, I'm like, why? Like, why go there? But I just keep hearing this whole, like, trust, you know, just trust and go. And so I'm going to tell this story really quick too, okay? So I had gone to Mexico when I came back from Mexico last, like, October. I had to stop through San Francisco, and I had like a 23-hour delay or whatever, layover, yeah. Which I was not expecting, by the way. And so I was sitting in the airport. I was really lucky. My parents had, you know, got me a hotel room that night. Oh, way nice. And so the next day, I went back to the airport after checkout, and there was this guy that randomly came up and talked to me, and we, like, had the best conversation that I think I've had with a human in, I mean, quite a long time. Like, it was like literally meeting a stranger, and you're like, oh, there you are, best friend. we talked all the way up until my flight left, and I think that was about 6. I can't remember how long it is. I'm probably going to over exaggerate this, but I swear we were talking for like 6 or so hours. It was amazing. It was one of the best times ever. And I think there's this little part of me that always wants to go back and see if I can find him, because I've been to San Francisco again.
No, you can fold this up and take it down there.
Since that experience, and I just always hope, because I don't remember his name. I don't, unfortunately, I don't know how to contact him, because we just ran into each other at the airport, had this amazing conversation and interaction, and then we completely went separate ways. We never exchanged information or anything. So it's kind of got this like fun, like mystery to it. But yeah, I think there is a part of me, that has always been drawn to going back there, because I hope that I'll run into him again, and just to have that type of interaction again. Those are so rare, and so yeah, that I'm pretty sure. I am still deciding, okay, because I have been looking at a bunch of places, because I have wanted to go back to Mexico. I was thinking about going to Cancun, flying into Cancun. I've wanted to go to Costa Rica, so I'm looking at those main places, but I am feeling San Francisco for some freaking reason. So yeah, I'm just keeping you guys updated. This is update number 1, and I will keep in touch and let you guys know when I make a decision, where it's going to be, and what happens from there, because I don't even know what will happen when I land, especially if I go to San Francisco. I don't know anyone in San Francisco. So I'll try to couch surf. At the worst or least, I'll just sleep in the airport, which I don't want to do. But, I always try to save a dime where I can. So yeah, keep in touch, guys, and I'll keep you updated on what is coming next in this whole adventure, because this is my life. I'm just crazy like this. Love you guys. Talk.